Okay. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So yes, it's like let's go to pipeline. Most of the work in DevOps we will be doing in pipeline, right? So we have learned two type of pipeline, correct here. One was the CI pipeline, which we call is like continuous integration pipeline, right? And then another is CD pipeline. So CI pipeline till now we have just created few of them to deploy resources. That is not actual CI pipeline, right? So if you go to one more project, let's say I'm going to my settle, okay, this one. And if you go to pipelines here, okay, you can see there are pipeline for build, right? Correct? My settle build. So if you click on edit, so this is the actual your pipeline for what you call build pipeline. Actually, this is the actual build pipeline. Okay, what this will do, let's understand this pipeline completely. Okay, at the end of this, at least we should able to describe how a pipeline should look like. Okay, so first of all, MySettle will have some sort of code, right? And where will store code? We'll store code in repository, right? You can see there are some code, right? Create MySQL DB, and then Docker, and some other environment configuration, right? Environment.json, and they have some build create, and they have some Maven, right? So how they will basically uh, build a code, right? So it basically depends on the language which it is written, right? So in this case, we will be using. I don't think so. There is any code there. SQL. Okay, there is Java, for example, models. Okay, there are some code which is written in Java, and they have kept it here, right? So how we will build code parties again? It's not in our head. It's just we will configure the branching policy, right? Be clear about your work, like what is your role, right? So maximum we can do here in MySettle is we can just add a branching policy, right? We can require a minimum number of review, one, require a work item, and then anything else we can do? No, right? That's all. We can basically just secure our branch with the help of branching policy for a pull request. So whenever there is some new code having like let's say developer has created a new pull request and code has arrived here, what I wanted to do, I wanted to get a continuous integration pipeline triggered for that, right? So we have code, we'll go to pipeline. So there are two pipeline, mysettle build, mysettle docker build, mysettle yaml build, mysettle docker yaml, right? So basically there is a normal build which can be like deployed to your web app or Azure application, and there is a Docker build, right? Docker build, like it will create an image for you, Docker and container. Don't go in that. We will discuss that later. Okay. Right now, let's settle its normal build, which we can deploy on web app or some other virtual machines, right? So, how we will create the pipeline? What is the first step to create a pipeline? First, we'll get a resource, right? That is my code, right? So where is my code? It is in my settle and branch, and then the master branch, right? We'll select that. Then phase one basically will having my agent detail, right? So agent is not selected. I will select Azure pipeline, right? Agent specification. You want to get anything? Here it is Ubuntu, right? So either you can select here Ubuntu, right? Or there was an option where we can say inherit from. pipeline, right? So this pipeline already has configured agent here, Ubuntu, right? Same you can configure here as well, or you can say inherit from pipeline. That's it. Okay. Then you can see they're asking one dependency, one package dependency, right? That is Maven. So what I'm saying with these dependencies, I'm asking Azure to give me a pipeline, or you can say agent for this pipeline, which already has Maven installed. Okay. Once that is done, there are some more like, okay, till when this pipeline should try keep running. Let's say there are some build which is not happening, but my pipeline is keep trying, it got stuck somewhere, right? That's why we are having this timeout, right? So you can say if you click on timeout, you will find that specify the maximum time in minutes a deployment is allowed to execute on agent before it cancelled by the server. Okay. So you understood this timeout part? What is this timeout part? Let's say I have triggered this CI, okay, and it is trying to build an image or an artifact from my code, source code, right? Till when it should try, there will be some chances like when program is running and running, it is not like resolving, right? So this timeline for is that if you're giving a zero value, that is like timeout, either to use the parent or it is infinite, okay? So if I have given some timeout for the this pipeline here, it will use that, or zero means basically infinite. It will keep running and it will keep trying. Okay. Next is your job cancel timeout. Again, same thing. Okay. This is for complete pipeline. This is for a specific job pipeline. Okay. Dependencies, you have any? No, that is fine. Then we have a task. Okay. What we are doing earlier, we used to select Azure CLI task, right? What that CLI task will do? That CLI task will basically create a resource on Azure, right? Here we are using Maven form. What this Maven form will do? This will build an image, or this will build an artifact, right? Or you can say this in layman language, this will build an application, right? Last time we have discussed, right? This will create a installable application so that you can install it on your local system in layman language. Once you start practicing, you will get, okay, what is happening or what is not happening here. Okay. So if you want to learn a little bit more about this, you can go to learn more about this task. Okay, see Maven documentation. You can go here and see. Okay. So basically, when we are selecting the task, that is doing this many things. Okay, but we are just selecting that task. Okay, Maven form file. Please go through this if you are able to understand. If you are not, then we'll see. Okay. So basically, this task Maven form, it will, you can see we have given this form XML. Where it is? It is in my settle repository, right? And then we are giving options to that. Also, we are test result files. Okay, how to test it? If you come here, specify the path pattern to the test result file to publish. Okay. So when you are building, first of all, you have to select a file. Here we have selected form file when you are using Maven. If you are using something else, let's say I think there is one more pipeline you have, right? There is one more pipeline which is not. Have you copied one more? Do we have any pipeline here? Let's see what is there in this pipeline. Okay, so yes, this Azure planning is having a different sort of task for build. This copy and publish will be same across all the environments. So you can see copy and publish, like once your artifact is built, copy and publish will be same in all pipeline. Even this will be same, like you have to select the resource, you have to select the pipeline, right? Only changes is like different tasks to build different sort of source code, right? So this task changes based on my language, or we can say on which language my uh, like application is written, right? Or the source code is correct. So here we are using Maven. In this we are using NuGet, right? And then we are using this Visual Studio build. It must be of .NET, something like that, right? Let's try to get this. So you can say ASP.NET it is, right? So if it is ASP.NET, we will be using what? We will be using Visual Studio build or NuGet package. Okay. If it is Java based, we can use Maven. If it is, we can also use this one Node.js. Okay. If it is JavaScript or something like that. So only this task changes, rest all is same. So let's first try to understand, okay, uh, what is happening in this. Okay. Till now, is it clear like what we are doing with this pipeline? Anyone any idea? Because it's complete silence from last 15 minutes.
Yes, because I'm getting.
Yes. Okay. Tony, are you getting?
Yes, because
Mm-hmm. Alok, Akshay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah. So that's what this is. Earlier pipeline was for the infrastructure which we have discussed last week, right? This in pipeline is about your deployment of what you call application continuous integration. We have learned, right? Okay, developer are keep writing code, they are keep updating some feature. Let's say they have added some feature, right? So in that case what we have to do, we have to run this pipeline, right? That's what it should be. Okay, let's try to trigger on pipeline and see if there is any images getting built, right? So we are fine, we'll say run. I hope this will run. If not, then need to figure out something due to subscription issue. At least it should build. So what all step is happening when I am triggering a pipeline? This can be one a major question, right? So write it down, right? Whenever we are running any pipeline, what all step will happen, right? First thing, initialization of a job. If you click on that, this initialization job, what it will do? It will get agent, right? First, then it will give you agent name and current agent version and all those things. So first thing it will get a agent, right? And then set the build variable. If you have kept any variable, it will, okay, before that also it will prepare a build directory where it will keep your artifact generated, or it will keep your what you call why, why I'm getting like forgetting things today. Build pipeline, build directory, that is folder. Directory is nothing but a folder where it will like whatever result we will get from here, it will keep in that build directory. Okay. And then next is set build variable. We have seen, right, how to pass new variable or how to pass a variable in pipeline in our infrastructure classes. So it will get the variable. Okay. Then it will download all the required tasks. Okay. Then required task is Maven, copy file and build file, right? So these three tasks has to be basically downloaded to the agent machine, right? Or it has to be installed on agent machine, right? Then only we will able to like run the Maven, right? And then copy files. If we don't know how to copy, or if you don't have command line to copy, will you able to copy? No, right? So that's why they are installing all the dependencies and then checking the job. Checking job is nothing but checking if source is okay or not. Okay. Once that is done, next will be checkout. Checkout is like What will happen in checkout? We have not discussed. So it will check
Checkout,
my,
we will move from one branch to another branch.
that's correct. So what they will do in checkout, it will get my code in existing branch to the local of this agent, right? So git version, git lfs version, git init, right? Git initialization. Once that is done, it will get the using master as a name inside the branch, and you can say git branch and branch name, then initialize empty git repository in this workspace, right? So this workspace where this path is, basically this path is in my agent machine, right? So what it is doing, you can say git remote add origin. It is getting basically the code, which is if you click on this, okay, it's not going there, that's fine. Basically, okay, we're going to check out, right? Let's copy this and try to paste it. Sorry. If it is also not happening, you can see my subtle. This is in our repository, right? So if I am again duplicating the tab, okay, if I'm going to repository, and you can see, right? No, not parts unlimited. Let's go to my subtle project, right? So inside my shuttle, we have this repository, right? My shuttle and then master. Same thing if I'm going to pipeline in checkout, you can see it is trying to download my shuttle, correct? So it will first download the code on local agent. Is it Microsoft agent or it can be your own agent, right? But these steps will be the same. Okay. Are you understanding what all steps is happening here? I hope yes, right? So initialization has few steps.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please take a note of that. Checkout has few steps. Checkout is nothing but it is just downloading your code to the agent machine. Then this is the important task, right? This Maven form XML, right? This is the build task, you can say, right? So this build task is basically, you can see, build, test, and deploy with Apache Maven, right? Maven is a build tool. Okay. So based on our what you call code, first it is downloading some repository for the Maven, like it is downloading its own tool set, right? And then still it is downloading its own tool set. Let's try to go down. So at the end, what will happen? You can say it is copying some jar file, right? So we know what is a jar file, right? Or a zip file, right? You can basically extract these files, right? And you can see what is there inside, right? So, and it is taken around 13,000 steps. So not to go in details of this, just try to understand, okay, we have a Maven build. We can use this task to build my Java based source code, right? And we can get our output from this task, right? So let's say this task has built some artifact in jar file. Okay, you can say there is build success, right? And then, okay, you can basically get where it is keeping, okay, where it is copying, okay. From here they started basically download, run from central and all those things. After that, it started building from my code. Nothing to get more detail what it is doing or what it is not doing. Whatever we have got from this task, in next task we will copy it and we will move it to some other. Okay. And let me have some water. Have you got here till like at least check out? You downloaded the code, right? And then in Maven, it build that code, it build an image. Okay, did my voice change? Allow me 1 minute. Okay, am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
You
Yes,
were
Vikas.
audible before as well.
Okay, yeah. Are you people getting what we are trying to do here with this application build pipeline? Yeah, you can speak, you people.
Yes, Vikas. Getting.
That's correct. Please take a note while going through this video again. What in installation is doing, what checkout is doing, what Maven is doing, right? So we have came here. Basically, Maven has given us a jar file, right, which can be installed on a target, right? What we are doing, okay, we got our jar file, but currently this jar file where it is, we have seen, right, in installation it has created a folder, right, inside my agent machine, correct? But we don't want to leave this in agent machine. We wanted to get it from agent machine and keep it somewhere else, right? You can see this is currently in agent machine here in this location. If you go to that agent which Microsoft has provided you, and if you go to this path, you will find there will be a package, jar package, okay, which has been built from this. So this is again, this is a temporary file, or it may be permanent also, okay. Oh, but we don't want to keep it there. We wanted to keep it somewhere else, okay. We wanted to keep it in some safe place, okay. That's why we are copying it, okay. So copying from where, you can see it is copying from same location, right? So in this place, after building this jar file, they have kept it in this branch, right? Or you can say this directory. We are copying from that directory, okay, work on as to a different location, okay. It's here in complete last it where file, right? Home vhts work target my shuttle.var, right? So copying from this to this, okay. So once it is copied, you have to publish it somewhere else, okay. After copying, you are publishing it to some other place. That is your uploading artifacts, okay. Publishing is nothing but uploading artifacts, okay. Where it is, you want to go to more details, publish, build artifact task. What it is doing, you can see here, publish to a path, publish this artifact name and all other things are there, okay. Wait for that. Currently it is uploading from this to a container, drop here, okay. And for every build there will be a container created, okay. We are copying all the files to a different location, and from that location we are basically publishing to it container, and from this container we can use this in our release pipeline. Okay, have you got what all this task is doing at least? We builded the file here, we got the jar file, then again we copied the same file to a different location, and from this different location we are publishing it to a container. Okay, and what this container is, it's a place where you can store your artifact, where you can store your application image. Okay, and from this place we will be deploying it to application. Okay, so this is still here, it is your build process. Okay, now we don't have any task for test, right? We could have added some task for test also here. We'll see some uh, application where test is also done, but this is a simple pipeline for the build project. Okay, hope it is clear till now what we are trying to do at least, right? Okay, uh, then what we will do, we have kept it till we build the image and we kept image in some container. Now we can get it, right? We can deploy it. Let's see if there is any release pipeline which they have created. My subtle release, right? So if you edit this release, yes, they have. That will not work. Edit pipeline, create release. You just got one, right? Maybe this is also not working. We will check this release pipeline. We have not talked much about release pipeline, but release pipeline is basically deploying to a target, right? So most of the work you have to do till build only. Release will have just a task where you will get the image and deploy to a target. It can be a web app, it can be a, so if they have any task for it, they don't have any task. We'll see how to, like, basically the release pipeline, this release pipeline will be added, or you can say it will be okay, here it is added. Okay, so this is different task. Okay, and we'll discuss this tomorrow. Okay, so okay, let's come back here only to the build pipelines. You can see the sign, right? What it is doing, it is building and it is keeping in a container, right? This is releasing, this is like rocket release, right? This is releasing to some other place, right? Or some other target. So this was our pipeline. Will you able to write it down? At least you can explain, right, in interview how your pipeline looks like, right? If they're saying, are you using Maven? What all thing you can say? Let's go to task, edit pipeline. What are things we have designed in this Maven? So if you click on this three dot, we have to find this pom.xml file, right? With the help of this XML file only, we are able to build, right? Let's see what is there in pom.xml. When I will not able to understand that because I don't know anything about XML, but let's see. They have some configuration in this, right? Project build active char and all those things are there. Don't know what it is. Not able to understand, but yes, this pom XML file only will help us in building our code, right? So let's go to task again. So what all important task we have in this pom XML? Select the file XML where it is, Goal is project, anything you can give. Options. Okay, you wanted to give some link with the help of which it can test or something like that. You can give that. Publish to Azure pipelines, right? You want to publish this to Azure pipelines, you can do that. Then again, you can test your results once published is done. Let's say the wire file we got, after that we can test it. Okay. So again, there is some automation test file has been created here. With the help of that, it will do the testing on our image which has been built. Okay. So that's why they have not added a new test here. They are doing the testing here only with the Maven itself. Okay, test run result, test run title if you wanted to do something. So when they are doing the testing, it will build some file, right? It will, you can give some name to that file where it will store. Okay, test result will be stored basically. That name you can give here. Okay, so there is some other like Sonar Cube and Sonar Cloud analysis. If you want to do that, you can do that. Okay, so these all are again testing and other tools, finding bug, PMD and all other things. So once your image is created, we have seen it will be going through the testing and other things, right? So you will be having options to do testing with pipeline itself. Okay. On same this code analysis, they will be doing this all. Check style PMD, don't know, run flag box. Use latest release, use the version declared in form XML. That's fine. There is control option again, it is again timeout and other things are there. Output variable, let's say you wanted to get some output from this task, from this pipeline, and use it in some other, like it's kind of, it will give you some output variables. Okay, and you can use that variable in different pipeline or in different job. Okay, so that is output variable, don't think much about it. I guess this is too much for today. If you are able to get this pipeline completely understand what all things it is doing, and you are explaining this, that is more than enough for you. Okay. Okay, please take a note and go through this video once again. We'll move to some other thing. Tomorrow we'll discuss one more pipeline that will be more clear, and I will try to see if we can deploy that. We'll see something. Right now it's imaginary. We are getting it deployed and build release strategy. We have not gone through it. Manage infrastructure code with Azure DSC. Okay, let's start with the release because we have done too much on the uh, CI, right? That is continuous integration. What is continuous delivery? Shall I move to continuous delivery? We'll just go through the introduction and all. Then tomorrow we'll
So,
start continuous release. Yeah. Okay. Someone has been something. Who is that? Okay. Here. I hope at least you people got 40% of pipeline which I am trying to explain with the help of Maven or the build pipeline. If you are able to get that much, I'm more than happy. I don't want you to understand 100% because even now also I will face problem if I'm trying to run something based on Maven. Okay, that's okay, but just get try to remember the steps. Okay, that will be more than enough. Okay, what all things you are doing in a build pipeline, just try to remember that. Getting code from repository, selecting a agent for that, adding a task to build it, right? And in that task, you can add some test parameters. Next, you can copy your image or artifact, whatever you call it, to a different container using copy files and publish artifact, right? Once that is done, we will move to the release. We have an artifact generated or where file generated or zip file generated. We'll get that zip file and deploy to a target. So deploying to target is our basically release pipeline. Okay. Okay. So we have planned, then we have realized that, right? We have got our build till here. Do we have some pen? I think we don't have today. This is whiteboard. Okay. So you have realized your goal till here. You have built a image and you have basically got it in a container. Now next part is deploy this to where you wanted to deploy, and then that will generate some value for you, right? You will get some money for that, right? So we see bug, unplanned work, and all other things, necessary updates and all. That is fine. We have already discussed. Next is what is continuous delivery, right? So you can say it's set of process, tool, technique for rapid, reliable, and continuous software deployment and delivery, right? Nowadays we know what is continuous delivery, right? Updating the production software, or you can say in your software regularly, is a continuous delivery thing. Okay. So yes, with the help of this DevOps build and release pipeline, it's become very easy for us, okay, to deploy to target very frequently, right? It is more than a pipeline. That's what it is saying. When I say continuous delivery, like at the end point, my application has to get some update, right? So we can get it via a pipeline also. Pipeline is just a tool which is helping us, right? That's what it says. The pipeline is a crucial component, right? So there are some 8 principles, right? The process of releasing deploying software must be repeatable and reliable. So that's what we are trying to do, right? These pipelines we can repeat it, right? This build pipeline can run anytime, right? N number of time you say, right? We can trigger this build pipeline which you have triggered. I can say new release, sorry, not the new release pipeline. I can use this my shuttle and I can run this pipeline multiple times, right? That's what it says, right? The process of releasing deployment software must be repeatable and reliable. And then we have also this release pipeline, right? We can release any number of time, right? That's what the first point is, correct? Automate everything. Everything will be automated. Developer will just keep us the code in this repository and we will not touch anything. It will automatically build, it will automatically test and automatically deploy to my target. We have seen task, right? What all things is going on. Take a note of complete task end to end from build to deploy, what all things you are doing. Okay. If everything is, if something is difficult or painful, do it more often. Keep everything in source control. That's what we are doing, right? We are keeping everything on source control, or you can say repository, the build file, the test file, everything is there in my this source control only. That is our repository. Done means released. Build quality. Everybody has a responsibility for the release process. Improve continuously, and that's fine. Okay. Move to the continuous delivery. Okay. Same pipeline they have again given in different way. Uh, Let me go through it if you have anything more here. This is basically a feedback loop, monitor and learn, right? So we have deployed our code to target, which is giving us some value. After that, also we are getting some monitoring and feedback so that we can again update it, and it will go in cycle again, plan, realize, release. Okay. We have already discussed all these things about release also, right? We are just releasing it in piece, not we are releasing at once. These are the feedback loop quality gates that we wanted to have in place. So we have seen the feedback, but how we can implement the feedback, right? So we have not discussed anything about feedback. Till now we have discussed, okay, my peer developer, or you can say if two people are working on some software, they will go through your code and they will give you feedback. That is the first level of feedback, right? We call it. Then what are the next level of feedback we are having, which we can implement on top of release pipeline? Okay, these are that a unit test to validate the code. Okay, an automated build to validate the source if build is happening or not. That is also kind of feedback, right? If build is failing means my code is not correct, or maybe my build pipeline is not correct. Okay, let's say my build pipeline is correct, then the build, if it is getting success, that means code is correct, right? An automated test, we are doing this test also, right? If you go to same pipeline, if you did this pipeline, we have some task for test, right? Test results file, right? Sunfire report test XML, they have written something in XML for the testing part, right? So some monitor on the server which you have not gone through, we'll go through it. Using instrumentation in the code, that also we have not gone through. Okay. So release is basically deploying to target. Okay. So why we wanted to move towards continuous delivery? That's what they are saying. So improving your application, where customer will be attracted, right? And then which will generate some value, right? They hear their customers, right? Let's say one customer came and he is, so like it's not just developer or your inside organization people will just give you, okay, I need this, I need that. Sometimes customer will also give you idea, right? Let's say customer is asking, okay, this is not there in your application, can you please add this? By moving to different, like let's say you are using YouTube, you are using TikTok, and you are using some other, okay, everyone don't have the same feature, right? So a person who is watching YouTube, he can ask something to the TikTok person, okay, can you please add this feature in TikTok? So that is kind of customers feedback, right? And their customers are using lots of tool, correct? And there is lots of customer outside, they can give their feedback, and there will be uh, some good feedback from them also. Okay. So, and then companies wish to deliver their product as fast as possible, quality should be higher, the move to production should be faster, technical debt should be lower, and all those things. Again, all theoretical part. That's fine. It's all perfect. That two parts. What is release and what is deployment? Again, it's the same thing. There is no much difference. Yeah, technical release from functional, it is too depth. No need to go. No need to do knowledge check. Let's go back. Explore release strategy and recommendation. Where are my different pattern from blue green? Let me copy this. I have to give it to someone. Okay. Any doubt till here? What we have discussed in release? What is release? We
No,
will
sir.
again we'll go in more detail of release. We have to create release pipeline also, right? So how to create a release pipeline, how to get the artifact which we have just got from our build pipeline or say continuous integration pipeline or CI pipeline. We'll go through that. Okay. For the learning to release strategy and recommendation, build high quality codes to for where these are coming from. Let me go back again. Design and release strategy. This is module one. Let's finish that then it will show. Which of the following choice is not considered a feedback loop or quality gates during continuous delivery? We have discussed this. What should be the answer?
1 minute, sir. Which of the following choices?
Okay, other people can go to different questions. Which of the following choice will describe the continuous delivery? Technical release we have not gone through. That is also fine.
सर पहले वाले का शायद Azure boards.
Correct.
Automatic.
What about the second one?
Uh, is
Selecting
a
choices best describe
setup
continuous
process
delivery,
and tools
continuous
technique.
delivery.
Pradeep, when you came?
I think
He's
it's
the boss, sir. He can come whenever he wants.
Okay, where are yours? Okay, leave it. Okay, which of the choice best describe continuous delivery?
second one, I guess.
Third one.
Setup process tool, techniques for
Third one.
rapid,
Third,
reliable, and continuous software
third,
deployment.
Third one, sir.
Process of automating the build and testing of code every time a member commit changes to version control. Okay, there is some fight happening. That's fine. It's near to same only. It's fine. Okay, let's go to third one. Vivek, only you want to vote?
Which of the following choices is the definition of the technical release?
You have not gone through it. Leave it. Okay, select anything. Which of the following choices is a container with version artifact pipeline approval stage and variables? Any any guess?
The following choices is a
Which of the
container with
following choice is a container with version artifact? Pipeline approval stage and variables. Let's go with release, right? Let's check the answers. Okay. So basically here, second one is the correct, okay, not the third one, right? So yes, we have seen in first only, right? The first thing when we started continuous delivery, this was the statement there, right? Continuous delivery is a set of process, tool, and techniques for rapid and reliable. We have discussed also, right? Rapid and reliable, and also repeatable, right? And continuous software development and delivery, right? So that's why that is correct, right? Rest all you people selected correct. So a release basically when we are releasing something or a package, okay, or a container, what they will do, let's say in my pipeline, right? We have just built this. So we got an artifact right here. Okay, let me go to the pipeline run. If you come here, this artifact, it has a number, right? You can say there is a number right here. We can keep a versioning of this. We have learned about versioning, right? Of any packages we have seen major, minor, and patches, correct? So those things you can see there is a version of this also. one point, that is version of this publish artifact task, right? So whenever we are building something, it will have some version. Okay, it will say, okay, let this is version 1, version 2, version 3. You can manage like that also. Okay, so that's what this one is saying. Okay, it has a version set. Okay, anytime you can go back to that version. Okay, let's say my first current version is not working, I can go back. Okay, let's go to next. It's 903. Unlock achievement. What I will do with this achievement? Let's say continue. Describe team structure. Yeah, I can go through this. Oh, let's go through this. Select anything. And let's don't have time. Okay. Without reading question also, I'm getting 66% correct. Okay, so work with Azure repos and GitHub. We have also gone through this, right? Why they are giving this again and again? Not getting them. Seriously. Migrate from TABC to Git, introduction to GitHub. Let's go back again. Okay. So now mostly it's practice which is pending. Okay. We know a lot in Azure. Okay. Now we know a lot even in pipeline also. Please go through what you call practice. The more you practice, you will get more. Okay. Build high quality release pipeline, introduction to deployment pattern. Okay, these all are part of this only. Okay. Explore the release strategy. And it has 15 modules. So you have seen this kind of picture right in pipeline, right? Those things only they have kept it in a theoretical manner, okay, where you will just go through it and learn new terms, right? So you can see this is like we will see this how to enable continuous integration. We will see how to add some gates. Like these are people, right? You can see there are people. These are pictures, right? These people will basically approve. They can approve. That is called gates. They can approve those things. Okay. Then you can deploy to QA. Post that you can deploy to prod, or you can keep prod after QA also. Okay. Then you can add some tester and all those things. That's all this picture says. We'll go through it. Don't worry. We'll do all these tasks. Okay. Artifact from different source. You can see there are two sources added. One is like repository and one is your build pipeline. This is a build pipeline sign, correct? So you can get artifact. That is right now we have generated one artifact, right? We can get that artifact here. Okay. So explore source artifact. Will trigger where people start the release by hand, a schedule trigger and continuous trigger. You can see all those things. Yeah. Don't worry about this. Explore artifact sources. So okay, this is about build pipeline. Okay, tomorrow we'll start this because again there is a lot in the release. Okay, so add an artifact or add an image like where your artifact is stored. Right. Currently we have created a we have got a artifact, right? Once like from my this pipeline which we have just built. That's what source is there. We'll see tomorrow. We'll create a release pipeline tomorrow. Okay. We will see how to configure a release pipeline. Simply going to theory will not help. We'll do first practical, then we'll go to theory later on to understand it in much better way. Okay, let's discuss questions one by one. Okay, and where are we with Azure? Like we have stopped discussing Azure from last 3 weeks, right? Let me go back. Let me stop recording, I guess, if we are not discussing anything.